Hey there folks, this is the Goblin King with another lighthearted, fun anime review. I watched this one, I think right after I watched Uzaki-chan. I get on these kicks generally, where I'll watch a lot of anime, like back to back to back, and then won't watch any anime at all, or very little for months or a year or more. Then I'll binge like 15 series again. At least that's how it used to be, in the before times. Before I decided to start a YouTube channel and enter the culture war. Now I have this channel, and this segment, and I have to watch anime every week. I'm not necessarily complaining. Anime is good. For now. So as I said at the end of my review on Ghostbusters Afterlife, the anime I'm reviewing tonight is a little spicy. It's a little, or a lot, edgy, depending on your personal scale. For me, it's a little edgy. I use a sliding scale myself. See, I go from Ranma 1/2, which is a little tiny bit edgy, mostly used for comedic purposes, all the way up to full-on hentai in the form of, say, La Blue Girl. Yes, I'm using comedic anime for this scale. Things like Urotsuki Doji are... I generally tend to stop at the line between hentai and ecchi. For an example, that line stops for me at something like the later seasons of To Love Ru. To Love Ru started out as just a fairly mild ecchi romantic comedy and, over the course of a few seasons, wound up right at that border between ecchi and full-on hentai. I ultimately stopped watching at that point, because that's not what I signed up to that series for. That's my thing. I'm not a prude. I have zero problems with any sort of more adult-oriented stuff. If I know that's the sort of thing I'm getting up front, I'll give you a shot. However, if you start out fairly mild and then go right up to that line and start waving your bare ass over it, you lost me. The anime I'm reviewing tonight sits on my scale, pretty firmly in the middle between Ranma and the later seasons of To Love Ru. About where To Love Ru was in the first couple seasons. However, the themes of this anime are very much more adult-oriented, as comedic as they are. The English title of tonight's review is Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. Honestly, that is a terrible title in my opinion. I have absolutely no idea what it has to do with the anime in any way, shape, or form. However, that's what it is and I can't do anything about it. The premise for the anime is very simple. Peter Grill, the main character, wins a martial tournament whose competitors include people from all kingdoms, I believe, and all races in the known world. Warriors compete in this tournament to be labeled the strongest in the world, and Peter Grill happens to win. Peter competed in order to prove himself to the woman he loves, a fellow warrior in his guild, who also happens to be the daughter of the guild master. He had to prove himself to her in order to win the chance to marry her. That was his whole driving force. Pretty romantic. However, that's when the problems start. Now that Peter has become the strongest in the world, women from all over the world, from all races and lands, now wanted to try to become pregnant by him in order to bear strong warriors of their own. It doesn't help things that the father of Peter's love interest hates him and will do anything he can to end their relationship. Whatever will Peter do? So I'm going to say it right out. This is a sitcom with titties. There is at least one bared breast in every episode. So if you're not into that, don't watch this anime, and I'll understand if you don't watch this video. That being said, this anime is actually pretty funny. Things that Peter has to go through in order to do everything he can to avoid these girls that are basically hunting him down are pretty hilarious. On the surface, Peter suffers from that same annoying trope that all of these harem anime main characters suffer from. However, in this one, that trope is actually played with a little bit. It's not so much that he's a bitch or lacks self-confidence. He's the strongest in the world after all. It's more about him truly being in love with someone and not wanting to screw around on her that drives his actions with these other women. Now, 99% of the time he fails, of course. However, there is a sympathetic arc there for sure. As for the other characters, these women are downright scandalous. There doesn't seem to be much of anything that they won't do in order to get what they want, and what they want is strong children. They will lie, cheat, blackmail, and break hearts in order to get that. That being said, they absolutely aren't just sex-crazed pests either. Each one of them, with the exception of the younger sister of one of them, has their own distinct personalities and motivations for what they're doing. For instance, the two ogre sisters, Mimi and Lisa, their whole motivation is their race. I guess that in and of itself is pretty simplistic. However, these people are modeled after warrior cultures throughout the ages and across the globe. There's an obsession with strong warriors and keeping the bloodline strong. A good example of this type of behavior from the real world are the Spartans. Lisa, the older sister's backstory actually gets fleshed out a little bit more in one of the later episodes. so you understand her motivation a bit more. Not completely sympathetic, but a bit more understandable, I suppose. The younger sister, Mimi, mainly just aims to follow her older sister's play, which is why I said she's the exception a minute ago. Then there's the elf, Vegan. Generally, elves in most fantasies are cast as being fairly heavy hitters on their respective world stages. Apparently not so much in this world. Elves are physically weaker than most of the other races and species, as they are in many depictions. Therefore, in this world, they're often bullied by stronger races and kingdoms. So Vegan wants to basically strengthen her own bloodline so that her people can start hitting back against their bullies. There's also an orc. Yes, in this world, orcs are the same as they are in every other incarnation since Tolkien's books. However, Piglet manages to break the standard orc mold by being absolutely hideous to all other orcs, which makes her phenomenally attractive to the other races because she resembles them more. I didn't make the character, damn it. She comes into Peter's life through his guildmaster's nefarious machinations. Then there's Peter's love interest herself, Luvalia. Luvalia is a beautiful human woman and strong warrior in her own right. Her father dotes on her to the point of obsession, which makes Peter's own life more difficult. She's smart but innocent to the point of naivety. For instance, she actually thinks babies are brought by storks or something similar. Sorry, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was comedically ludicrous for an adult person to believe. All around, it's a fun anime. I love the artwork and character designs, and it made me genuinely laugh at all the points I was supposed to. So the comedy isn't subpar. Some of the plots and situations are very contrived almost to the point of being a bit too tropey. However, it wasn't bad enough that I rolled my eyes. Too much anyway. As I said, the character designs were generally gorgeous. The only one that really gave me pause was the orc Piglet. It appeared like she had 2 sets of ears for some odd reason that I couldn't quite figure out. I couldn't figure out if they were even supposed to be another set of ears. It was just really odd and distracted me a bit. The stories and situations are pretty standard for this type of anime. Like I said, it definitely goes right up to the line of tropey. For me, it didn't really cross it, but to other people, I suppose that's for you to decide. I didn't mind it. It was a nice, fast-paced comedy that I watched in like 2 nights. Not even the whole of the second night either. If you like fantasy anime, if you like comedy, this is a pretty decent watch. Nothing groundbreaking. If you don't like ecchi, then avoid it. If you don't mind it, again, it's a decent watch. So have you seen Peter Grill in The Philosopher's Time? If so, what'd you think? Let me know down in the handy comment section down below there. While you're down there, show me some love. I can give you strong children. I'll see you on Saturday for the pop culture breakdown.